Welcome to Beware of Spoilers, Wednesday episode. Trying to see what it was I was doing for this week's special or regular Wednesday episode. It was more special when I did the multiple episodes a week before all of these subscription services came out. Now it feels less. Now it's just on schedule, and now we're gonna be doing now it's 3 episodes a week. So Wednesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday because I recorded right after I go to the movie, so I'm not sitting here stewing with whatever feelings I have, and it's fresh in my head, and I don't really have that way. It's saw it, recording it right after. So I saw it on Tuesday, so it's the 7th. So this is gonna go up on the 8th. Tuesday, August 8th will be the date that this goes out. So today's movie, 8th Grade, Bo Burnham's directorial debut. Bo Burnham, if you know him, he's a comedian who I believe he had his own TV show for a little bit. Maybe I'm mixing up with Demetri Martin, but he was definitely a comedian. And he set out with this one. The movie is a slice of life, and I'm very happy about this movie because finally, up until this point, best movie of the year of movies that I've seen. I'm getting close to 20 at this point. Best movie of the year was Infinity War. I felt like that wasn't a respectable choice. I'm very pleased to announce that this movie has unseated Infinity War as best movie of the year. So far, there's a lot of movies still haven't come out yet. Still haven't seen. We're getting into Oscar season. Creed 2 is going to be coming out, and that movie has just enough fan service. It can even unseat this one. But this movie is good because it plays on a few things. Number one, a slice of life movie. This is a true slice of life movie. And what that means is that it shows you a window into what's going on with this one specific family. And it's good, it does that well because number one, it doesn't show you things that don't directly involve the main character, whose name is Kayla. If it doesn't involve her, you don't see it. So you don't see people talk about her behind her back. You don't see other things going on. You see you only know what Kayla knows, which is very important. And number two is there's no cataclysmic event going on in these people's lives. Where the whole movie's entire conflict comes from the fact that she is now finishing the 8th grade, which is the title of the movie, and she's going on to high school. And it's going along with everything else that you would have to do while you're transitioning grades like that, and she's trying to reestablish herself and become cooler. Where like the inciting incident of the movie is the fact that she wins the superlative most quietest girl, or something like that. She wins the superlative for being the most introverted. And through the movie, you can see indications that she got some anxiety disorder because she has a panic attack when she's changing into a bathing suit for a pool party. Anytime she's talking to people, she's always she's very odd about it. She doesn't make eye contact or anything like that. And like the real resolution and victory that you get in this movie for her is that she confronts someone who was mean to her. And there are plenty of opportunities for things to go awry in this girl's life. But the movie doesn't take that option. Where she she almost gets sexually assaulted in there was an option in the script where she could have gotten sexually assaulted in the backseat of a car, and they didn't take that option. There are a lot of things that could go wrong in her life that the movie sets up as possible, but they don't take those options, and it just shows you that this is just life as it is now. And I think it does it in a better way than even that Kirk Cameron Connect movie that came out a little while ago. So that's one of the things that you really need to take into consideration for future slice of life movies is that if you're doing a slice of life leading up to an event, that's not really that anymore. That's more of you. That it's more like a biopic or a straight up drama. This movie gets that title because it shows you what goes on in her life, and it makes drama out of the mundane. Where it's like she's going to hang out with friends for the first time at the mall. She's going to a pool party that she got invited to. She really didn't want to go to, but she got invited to it anyway. And her dad's having her go. She's trying to get her first boyfriend. And these are all things that are mundane and things that happen every day to most people, and the movie creates drama out of it. The other thing the movie creates very well is this sense of secondhand embarrassment that becomes almost palpable. I call it, I've talked about it before on 30-minute reviews. I've called it like the cringe factor. Like when you like when you see something and you just like ugh, like kind of like that, and you're just like, why are you doing that? And you can almost like, I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but like when you see that, you kind of feel it in your lower back, like ugh, like whenever she talks or she tries to do something, you're kind of like, why are you doing this? This isn't working. Like you're just making a fool of yourself, and like a lot of it comes from the fact that you're older and you like, and that's part of why there's this disconnect between you and her as the viewer, unless you're in her age group, in which case I don't know why you're listening to an explicit podcast reviewing movies, because that doesn't seem to be in the wheelhouse of someone who's in the 8th grade. But you're because you have a disconnect, kids at that age think they know everything, and everyone around them is stupid. So like everything she's doing, you know, this is, you know, because of the benefit of hindsight, this is a bad idea. She hasn't had that experience yet to know this is a bad idea. So like, the one thing though that I thought was a little weird that actually ended up working out for her was when she called the girl who she was shadowing. Because like when I went to high school, we had the same shadow. You got assigned someone, you shadowed them, and they showed you around with that. And I spoke to the person once, and and no one did the program after that. Like it was weird if you did the program, but I guess in this school it was normal. And yeah, but there's a lot of the movie's very well shot. There's a lot of, I would say, the movie in terms of structure reminds me a lot of Clerks. Where where Clerks is the title card corresponding to the 7 deadly sins. The 9 circles of hell. That's what Clerks is. The 9 circles of hell. And as you go on, it's Dante's Inferno. This doesn't have that. It's just anytime she's going through something, there's a corresponding video on her YouTube channel that she makes at the same time that shows that corresponds to what she's doing at that time. On top of that, and that kind of serves as a title card, and it's kind of like the next portion of the movie up until the next one is going to be about that. And then there's also these shots of people talking, but no cuts, which from the standpoint of a director is pretty impressive, because if you're going to record some people talking, and these are long conversations, they're going on for multiple minutes, they need to have these lines memorized, and they need to know what you are looking for. So as a director, you need to be able to articulate, this is what you're going to be doing, and we're going to shoot the whole thing, and you're just going to do it. It's like, there's one scene in the beginning where the dad is talking to Kayla at the dinner table, and the whole thing is shot in one take, and there's no cuts until the very end, and you don't like, and it's got multiple times where she's moving her hand back and forth between her ear, because she's putting her headphone in and out, and other like action cues like that happening in the scene, and like the dad is like not even just, talking, he's wildly imitating other emotions for comedic effect to try and cheer his daughter up. And it reminded me of the scene where Dante and Caitlin Bree have that conversation, and the entire thing is shot. It's like a 3-minute conversation, and the whole thing is shot at once. That's what I get a lot of things about. And there's a lot of these, the movie really opens too with her first video, and the video, it's shot with that slow pan out to like show that like she's putting on a facade for YouTube, that she's not really this person, which is a good way to really frame the movie, because you're starting out and you're visually showing that without articulating it, and that's what a lot of it is. And there's no real dialogue beyond that for the first little bit of the movie, because then it's like the next thing you see is her waking up, and then you see her putting on the facade for social media that she does, where she goes and she puts on the makeup and she gets makeup ready and she watches the tutorial, and then she goes back to bed and then takes a picture and says, just woke up like this, for her Snapchat story. Where it's like you see the effort she's putting into to do that. And it's a very good snapshot into what social media is for the world. And then the kids actually bring up a point, the high school kid she hangs out with at one point brings up brings up the point that it's not. There is a difference. It's not he calls it a generational gap. I wouldn't say it's a generational gap. There's a difference based on what social media was available. Where it's like he said, we had Twitter in middle school, and then he goes to her, when did you first get Snapchat? And she said, I was in the 5th grade. And it's like, it's such a different world now that Snapchat's there at a younger age. Like, even for me, we had MySpace in middle school. Then by the time we got to high school, we had Facebook. And then by the time we were going away to college, that's when Twitter really made an appearance. And it's different for each age group based on what they had available, because it's different levels of, intervention into your daily life. And, it gives you different glimpses in based on what you have, and this is something that's stated by a 17-year-old in this movie, and it's a good point. But altogether, this movie is actually fantastic. I saw it in AMC, obviously, and it's a very good, it's actually an amazing movie. I would definitely recommend you go see it, especially if you like seeing movies. We're gonna have a lot of secondhand embarrassment. The only criticism I have of the movie is the sound mixing is a little weird, where the music is off-puttingly loud at points. I know, maybe if I watch it again, I'll see that was more for an effect. But when you watch the movie, the music is off-puttingly loud at parts. So yeah, we'll wrap that up for today with 8th grade. Definitely go see the movie if you haven't already. And our next movie is going to be The Meg on Friday. Then on Monday, it's going to be Black Klansman, Adam Driver. I'm sorry. Hang on, who directed it? Oh man, I'm completely blanking on who directed it. It's a big director, too, who directed it. Hang on. This isn't going to bother me if I don't say it. But I saw it, and it was like that, or like Slender Man. I'm like, I'm not gonna see Slender Man. Next week we're gonna have a special episode. It's gonna be our first special episode. It's gonna be next week. I'm gonna partake in the Fathom event. Spike Lee, that's who directed it. I'm gonna partake in the Fathom event for Grave of the Fireflies. Probably one of the most emotionally devastating movies I've ever seen in my life. But I'm gonna go see it in theaters because it's really that good, and that Fathom event's on Monday. So we'll have a special episode next week on top of it. So yeah, we'll wrap up there for today. We will be back Friday with The Meg. Have a great rest of your day.